Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Tyler Merkovich alongside the Czar of the Playbook, Emery Hunt. We're bringing you our 2010 season preview for the Oakland Raiders. 5-11 last year. Of course, the recap: Cable's assault issues on and off the field. I should say off the field, but Jamarcus Russell, of course, he's out there now. They had their moments. They played in They played some close games, and they got to really finish games because they really fell apart in the second half. Their O-line was abysmal. Defense was okay at times. This year, Russell's out. Cable retained, surprisingly, Jason Campbell, the big trade, and they made some quiet but steady pickups. Campbell, 20-32 record as a starter, takes over. Offensive coordinator Huey Jackson will be the O coordinator. Darren McFadden, Michael Bush, they lose Fargus, they pick up Michael Bennett. So what do you think about the Campbell pickup, and what do you think about them and the running back?
They already added 3 victories just by adding Campbell, so the Raiders are going to be fine with a stable quarterback like Campbell. The only problem they have with Campbell, he's a good quarterback, he can make all the throws, he just has to trust what he sees. He wants to throw the football to a guy that's completely wide open. Throw the football, as part of being an NFL quarterback, you have to anticipate. So you could utilize that strong arm to throw the football when you see a guy about to break. Don't wait till he's wide open. But Campbell is going to be a lot better than Jamarcus Russell and a lot better than Bruce Gronkowski. So they're fine at quarterback because Campbell can make plays. Running back, they're going to be solid because that's the strength of that offense. They have a lot of depth. McFadden added bulk, so look for better McFadden this year, hopefully. Michael Bush is the guy that combines all. He can run between tackles. He can also have a little quickness to get to the outside. He can also be a valuable receiver out of the backfield. But Bennett is another guy that's going to provide a lot of depth. Yep, Michael Bennett.
Who would have thought that he stayed in the league a lot longer than Ron Dane? They were both at Wisconsin, and it's Michael Bennett now.
Because Bennett has 2 things that Ron Dane didn't. He can catch the football and he has speed. So that allows you to stay longer in the NFL. So the running back situation is solid in Oakland.
Trust your eyes. It's all about vision. That's why Michael Bennett's still in the league. But they were 21st in rush offense, anemic pass offense, on 159 yards per game through the air. That's because Russell was getting dropped, and that's part of his non-understanding of the quarterback position, not letting the ball go. They were 3rd in sacks allowed. They allowed 49 sacks. Their quarterbacks got hit 97 times, so a little change. They draft Valdir and Campbell to help out on the right side, but Khalif Barnes will start at right tackle, Cooper Carlisle at the right guard position, Sattelli at center. Robert Gallery has found a home, and that's at guard, not at tackle. Former first-round pick, used to be a tackle, now he moved inside the guard. He's pretty solid. Mario Henderson at left guard. Of course, they get rid of Cornell Green. And wide receiver position, Chas Jones finally healthy. They'll have him in there. Lewis Murphy, pretty good rookie year. Darius Hayward-Bay, first-round pick last year. Very disappointing year. A lot of drops. Zach Miller is their strong suit at tight end. And they draft Bernard Jacoby Ford in the 4th round. And they really hope that he could be a very productive receiver. They have Hayward-Bay and Ford. These guys, I'd love to see them at practice just race at the end.
Right. Word out of minicamp is that Hayward-Bay is finally catching the ball. But I will hold reservations on him until I see it actually in game time.
Will he catch in traffic?
Right, that's the
biggest
biggest
thing. The offense.
That's the biggest thing. I like the fact that they do have Zach Miller, one of the more underrated tight ends in the league.
Absolutely.
Chad Shillings is the guy that Jamarcus Russell used to go to first because he catches the football.
He was coming on last year before
he got injured. You look at Lewis Murphy, another guy, solid rookie. Ford is going to be what they wanted out of John Lee Higgins, but Ford is a guy that's going to be special. You also look at the fact that they have a lot of talent and depth. Higgins is also a guy that you want to, keep an eye on. If he got blasted in week 1 by Eric Weddle, so I think he had to recover by that.
He doesn't go a preview without mentioning that.
Right, so that's the most important thing. But the wide receivers, if Hayward-Bay catch the ball and now they have a quarterback that can get them the football, that's going to be fine. And Campbell doesn't throw interceptions, so expect to see the negative turnover ratio, -13. Expect to see that drop tremendously. The offense is going to look a lot better this year. Valdir and Campbell, 2 guys that may play a lot as rookies.
Yeah, Shillings really coming on last year. He really has the opportunity. He's not the speediest guy, but he's really a technician. And Murphy, I mean, that surprising year out of him. They drafted him so late. A lot more production out of
he still has some drops,
top 10 pick. I think he's got more promise than expected coming into his 2nd year. Defensive side of the ball, they are going to play a 4-3, but maybe give you some 3-4 looks. 2nd round, they draft Lamar Houston for DN. They like Matt Shaughnessy. He's going to back up Houston, or they'll fight for the job. Defensive tackle Tommy Kelly, and they like Desmond Bryant, who's backing him up. And they also have I should say Bryant will get the start alongside Tommy Kelly, who's been underachieving since his contract, and Richard Seymour, who's a big pickup right before the season at the end. So let's talk about their front four.
Yeah, that front four is going to be solid. You add Bryant. You add John Henderson. You also add Lamar Houston out of Texas, a guy that can play in. Now you have a formidable front four with Henderson, Seymour, Houston, Kelly, Shaughnessy, a guy that is outstanding, and Bryant, a guy you want to detail with Desmond Bryant, you keep an eye on. So the front four is going to be solid, which means their linebackers are going to make a lot of plays.
They were 29th against the rush, so that front four needs to stop it. But they still had sacks. They had 37 sacks. They were tied for 11. So when their rush defense is horrible, they were getting to the quarterback a little in the pass defense. But linebackers, I know you love the core, led by inside linebacker Orlando McClain, first-round pick out of Alabama. He's going to get the job. They lose Kirk Morrison. They bring up Quentin Groves for some depth. But Trevor Scott, they move from DN to linebacker. And they pick up Cameron Wimbley, a very underrated pickup from Cleveland. So talk about their improved linebacking core.
Yeah, you have two guys on there that are stars. Well, one is going to be a star. One is already a solid player. Wembley is a solid player. And McClain is going to be a star, especially playing behind that improved front four. Keep an eye on Quentin Groves as well to provide some depth, maybe even get some starting duties. But Trevor Scott made the transition to linebacker flawlessly, so that's a solid linebacking core. They also still have Thomas Howard out there, a guy that can catch interception, maybe more of a nickel linebacker. But I love the linebackers. They're going to look a lot better in that front seven. Now we can talk about the secondary. It's going to be extremely solid.
Well, the secondary, only 8 interceptions last year, tied for 31st. That's surprising, with a guy named Nnamdi Asomugha as their top cornerback. He'll team up with Chris Johnson. Cornerback depth, a little question mark. Walter McFadden, they draft 5th round. Stanford route, they re-signed. So those are the 3 and 4 cornerback. But safety, strong suit now because Michael Huff finally comes of age. Really came around last year at free safety. Tyvon Branch, strong safety. More tackles than any safety in the league. And Mike Mitchell, where did this guy come from at Ohio? Why did they draft him so early? He really came on at the end of the year. So they got depth at safety. They got a good corner in Asomugha. Not sure about Johnson and the rest of the depth. So what do you think about their secondary? They're going to get their interceptions up.
Well, when they play a 4-3 man press, that's their defense. And playing opposite of Asomugha, that's what you have to have. Chris Johnson, a guy that's fiery, physical. I like Chris Johnson as a player. Safety, you mentioned a strong point. They also added a guy like Joey Thomas from a rookie out of Montana State, but played in the league, bounced around different teams, but solid, physical guy, 6'1", 200 pounds, so probably played a nickel spot. But if the pressure is going to be there for the Raiders, so the secondary is going to look a lot better. Huff, Branch, and Mike Mitchell out in that secondary at the safe spot, they'll look fine on defense. I like the Raiders secondary.
Their pass defense was 7th in the league, so that's pretty good with 206. I know they didn't get any interceptions, but they need to really hold the ball on offense. Maybe that's the problem, because turnover differential was tied for 30th with -13.
Right.
So maybe if they could hold on to the ball, get a little more interceptions. They play pretty solid pass defense. They rush the quarterback. So a lot of promise on this Oakland defensive side of the ball. Special teams, John Fossil is their coordinator for special teams. Long snapper John Kondo out of Maryland is one of the best in the game. And it's unbelievable special teams because their kicking is amazing with Shane Leckler, the punter, maybe one of the best of all time. And place kicker Janikowski has gotten more accurate and accurate as his career has gone on. But the return game a problem, 32nd in kick return, 29th in punt return. This is why they have all these speedy guys, and they draft Jacoby Ford, 4.28 40-yard dash in the combine. So what do you think?
Problem solved. You mentioned Jacoby Ford, speed, kickoff return, punt return. Michael Bennett can also return kicks as well. So you also get Hayward B out there as a returner as well too. So best punter in the league. You mentioned it by far. Janikowski has improved over time. So they're solid on special teams. I like the Raiders special teams unit.
So Oakland, I know this guy is very optimistic. I think they're right. They're hovering right around the 500 mark. They got to win those close games.
I think Oakland may even surprise some people and finish probably 2nd in the division, and may have an opportunity to sneak into the playoffs as a wild card. But Oakland, 8 to 10 wins, I think, from this group.
I like that defense. I like that defense. It's all about the offense. That's a lot.
Campbell puts them over the top. They get 8 to 10 wins.
If you put the Oakland defense with the Tennessee offense, I think you got the Super Bowl team right there, because this is totally opposite right there with the question marks. For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan.